Hi, welcome to Oklahoma's COME conference. My name is Klista Storts. I am with LifeWay Christian Resources. I feel like I'm among friends, uh, born an Okie, raised an Okie, and I will always be an Okie in my heart. So thank you for letting me be a part of this. We are here today to help you to start building some bridges to getting back into ministry in life, in person. And so I'm going to be talking specifically about designing a safe return for your kids' ministry. It's been hard. It's been a hard time, hasn't it? I feel for you guys so much, and my heart hurts for you. It hurts for the kids. It hurts for our parents. And so prayerfully, we're going to talk today about some ways to get things back on track and back in your church and with as much safety, with as much security as we possibly can, and with as much peace of mind for the parents and for you and for the kids. So we're going to jump right in on some things that I pray will be a help for you in this. I've shared my PowerPoint with you, so I am going to be clicking during this time, but just wanted to be able to, that you could see it, maybe have it in writing. It's going to help you just a little bit more. So let's jump right in. Let's go to our first slide here. And the first thing that I would suggest that you do is to phase in rather than open all at once. What I love about that is it gives you a little bit of time to say, yes, this works. No, that didn't work. Let's back up. Let's try this again. Our church, the church I attend here in Nashville, right now we're not even having the kids ministry open. We have been in worship the past 2 weeks, very small groups of people who have been coming because we're just, again, dipping our toes in the water. But we've got our chairs set out, 3 chairs here, 4 chairs, 5 chairs, 2 chairs, all of that kind of stuff. And so what I love is that we're getting ready to test it on the adults before we do it in the kids area. So take advantage of finding out what works and what doesn't. So phase in slowly. The next thing on your phase in is to really try to get pre-registration of the kids that are going to be coming each week. Put an email out there, Facebook, whatever it is, asking parents, hey, would you just let me know if your kids are planning to return this week or not? We want to make sure that we're ready. Now, one of the things that we're doing in our worship time is our preschool children's minister and her assistant have made up bags, just really inexpensive bags, tote bags for the kids. And each week she's going to put something in it for that particular week. She's giving the kids the bags. She's not asking them to return them, but she asks that they bring them back with them week after week. And when they do, she has something new to put in it. And so you might consider doing something along that line. And again, pre-registration, knowing how many kids might be coming will be helpful for you in that arena. Another thing that your pre-registration is going to help you to do is to know how many teachers you're going to need. You're going to know how many groups you're going to have because it's going to be a little bit different. You are going to have to reduce your group sizes, which means, as we all know, that means additional teachers. And so go through, figure out how many classrooms you're going to have, how many children you should put in each classroom, and therefore how many teachers you're going to need. I know that puts the fear of God in my heart every time I know I'm going to need more teachers, because that is something that we struggle with often. But on top of that, you now have probably quite a few senior adults who help you week after week after week. They're so very faithful, but yet right now is not the time for them to be back in with a group of people, and especially kids. And so you're going to need some additional teachers. What might happen though is that you're able to say to someone, hey, I'm just going to need you for the first phase in. I just need a teacher for just a few weeks. Could you help us? And hopefully more and more will sign up during that time. And don't forget about your security, your background checks, and all of those things. You still want to make sure those are in place, but you may need to find some new people who are going to help you. And hopefully they will continue even after this COVID crisis is over. So be sure that you're keeping that in mind. The next thing that you're going to have to do is to reevaluate your space. Again, you might rejoice in this because you may get some extra space. Our adults are not meeting in their life group classes right now, in addition to the kids. So, but when we return, it could be that we take up some of that adult space because we are going to have to spread the kids out more. So reevaluate your space. Go with your minister or your minister of education and choose some spaces that normally might not have been open to the kids, that maybe just for this short time you're able to infiltrate and borrow with the hopes of giving back. But, I'm just saying. So just get out there, find some new spaces so that you and your kids can spread out and be healthy and safe and happy. All right. Now, during this whole reevaluation of space, we are going to be trying to help our kids social distance. And that's not really easy to do. They have missed their friends just as much as we have. They don't understand not running up and hugging and not, just grabbing each other or even elbows and just marching along into the classroom. So help them to know how to social distance. I read one place where a classroom had put hula hoops in for each child. And so that's where they sat. They listened to the Bible story. That's where they did their activities. And if you think about it, as they get up, they take that space with them. So there's that built-in boundary that they've given themselves. So think of something fun. I just think that's fun. I might do it after this whole health crisis is over, just because I think it's a fun way for kids to enjoy having to social distance if they can. All right. The next thing I would suggest is maybe to create individual supply boxes, much like they have in school. Each child has their own little pencil box, and inside it there are a pair of scissors, pencils, pens, markers, glue sticks, et cetera, so that each child has his own to be able to use, and they're not having to share those. I know that I have a tendency to chew on ink pens while I'm working. So that will take that hazard out if each child has his own little box. The next thing is obviously, this is a good thing, all right? Deep cleaning and continuing cleaning procedures of your floors, your toys, and equipment. There is probably no better place, no other place that's better prepared than your preschool children's area. We have done a good job. I'm sure you have done a great job of keeping that clean. So this is not going to be that hard for you. You might go one step further and just, overdo. But the good news is you're already used to this. You're already accustomed to when a baby mouths a toy, picking it up, putting it in a box, and waiting until it's disinfected before you put it back out. So you're accustomed to those things. The things that you might need to do is remember, like even 4s and 5s. I know in my Sunday school class of kindergartners and first graders, you would think they would be through mouthing toys, but it's just not true. So when we host a guest in our kitchen dramatic play area, I catch them putting food in their mouths, the plastic food. So it has to be washed. It has to be cleaned. So just make sure you're taking those extra precautions, wiping down crib rails, washing floors, et cetera, each and every time it's used, okay? But I know, again, that that's nothing new to you. Just keep on top of it. The next thing is, as you're cleaning all that, remove any items that cannot be disinfected. People are so gracious to try to give our preschool areas stuffed animals all the time, but if it cannot be disinfected, it needs to find a new home. So just look through your stuff, make sure it can be disinfected, and if not, it's time to toss it. Okay. All right. The next thing is we want to teach and post procedures for hand washing, for diapering, for toileting. Again, just a reminder of the things that we've already got in place. There's a great website that LifeWay has put up of some considerations, and at the end of this this PowerPoint, I will give you a link where you can go and get posters that you can print off and post on the walls. They're fun, and they will grab the attention of your teachers and of your kids. So hang on for that, okay? But post those, remind those teachers of the things that you've been teaching them all along. Next, I would really suggest not allowing kids to bring toys from home. We usually try not to anyway, just again for that whole disinfecting problem, but this ultimately now is so very important. So suggest it to your parents, help them to remember those kinds of things. Now, I do know every now and then you will have a child who has to have that toy with them or he's not coming. And so what I usually try very hard to do in a case like this is as that child brings his toy in, I say, hey, I see that you brought such and such toy. I want you to know that we're going to put it up here on this shelf. You and I know where it is, and you can go over there anytime that you want during the day to go give it a hug, just to hold it for a minute. But just so it's safe and you're safe, we're going to leave it right up here, okay? And just reassure them over and over again, it's right here. But best practice is not to allow them to come in the classroom if at all possible. But again, remember, we're working with kids, and I want your heart to show to that child that you really do care. And the parents will be appreciative too, right? Okay, the next thing I talked about individual boxes for the kids. Consider making individual supply boxes for the entire classroom of teaching materials, not the materials that the kids work with, but what the teachers themselves will work with. So give an individual supply box per hour of the copies of adult scissors, adult markers, things like that, so that those teachers can rest assured as well that their materials are nice and safe, okay? All right, the next thing is to determine and communicate your arrival and your departure procedures. I would suggest one parent or guardian to pick up and drop off the kids. Again, the fewer people that you can have in your kids' ministry, the safer it's going to be, and the more secure it's going to be, and more hygienic it's going to be. So make sure that they understand all of those things. The best procedure is going to be, if you're able to do it, is to have one door that's set for pickup, and another one is the one that they exit from, so that you don't have kids and people gathering at the doors and talking and keeping other people from coming in and out. So one way in, one way out. And then overall, if your kids haven't been able to return yet, I do want to encourage you to continue your digital options for those kids who aren't able to come back yet, so that you know, hey, listen, we've not forgotten about you. We are so ready for you to come back. But in the meantime, we still have these things available for you. So continue what you've been doing digitally. And I know that those parents and those kids are going to appreciate it so very much. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is I wanted to remind you some just good continuing practicing good hygiene. We've already talked about deep cleaning and continuing those procedures for equipment. I'm going to move my little face over here. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. Those cleaning procedures of your floors, your toys, your equipment, and how it's done every week. Every time it's used, you're going to be doing those things, teaching and posting those procedures, hand washing, keeping those kids learning about social distancing with hula hoops, air fives, air hugs, waving. And again, those kinds of things are listed on those posters. And I think that's going to be very helpful, and not allowing kids to bring toys from home. So just, I know we talked about all of those things, but I thought just one more time, if we've got it listed in nice little bullet points, that's going to help you remember. It will help your teachers remember those kinds of things that you want to do for your kids and for your ministry. And so remember during all of this that even God, Jesus himself, helped us to know how very important our kids are. He said in Matthew 10:42, if anyone gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones because he's my disciple, I tell you the truth, he will certainly not lose his reward. And I just want to reassure you that that's what you're doing right now. You are caring for the kids. You are caring for these precious little ones that Jesus himself tells us we need to be careful with these guys, with these loved ones. He loves them, and he wants us to love them. So you are gathering your reward right now. I know there's one up in heaven for us already, but my goodness, we get a reward while we're down here on earth. And so let me just encourage you with that, to keep up the good work, the hard work that you've been doing all along. Just keep it up. And I know that your kids are going to have that safe return. Okay. So one last little slide here that I want to bring up, and it's got, keep your ministry safe and secure, but you'll notice down below there, www.lifeway.com/6 considerations. There you will find, you'll sign up to get a book. It does ask for your email. Some of you may already have an account, but it will ask you for your email, and then it will send you a download, some downloadable resources, including the posters that I mentioned that have hand washing and how many parents can come, et cetera, et cetera. I think you'll find it very, very helpful. It goes in more detail as to how you can restart your kids' ministry safely. God bless you all. Again, thank you so much for being here, and I pray God's blessings on everything you do. Take care.